Hi.
Hello. Context, context, context. Some of you will have seen our Humpty Dumpty series where we discuss the greater problems that can arise if you ignore context in three specific senses, even biblical context. One is the immediate context of a proof text passage.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the larger context, which is the book itself, the book from which you are reading.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the third dimension of context, which is the Bible as a whole.
Right.
And you have to put your immediate text into the specific context, then the book context, then the biblical context, and there's even a fourth context, which some of our viewers have in the comments section of several recent videos, especially the Job one apparently, have pointed out is the historical grammatical context, i.e. words have meanings in cultures, so the Bible is embedded in a historical setting, several historical settings.
So it
passes over time from something like 2000 BC when the first revelation is given to Abraham to AD. 2100 years have gone by, so there's various historical settings that you have to be aware of to be able to set a biblical text in its proper setting.
So you have to know what the people of the time would have understood and what they would have thought things meant.
Yes, and especially as that is that important when it comes to not only historical details but the meaning of words. Some of you have requested we use the silver sword more often, and okay, let's do it. If you look in
the change right away.
There are some significant changes. I think we only used it once or twice before in our Acts discussion, Acts 17 discussion.
Right.
I wanted to point out at the beginning of this, you notice there's a section, basic Bible questions, and if you look at question 11, what happens when someone dies, you have the same proof text that I was trained to use 48 years ago in 1970, the same proof texts that are in the reasoning book.
Right, their starting point.
And they are Psalm 146 verse 4 and Ecclesiastes 9, 5, and 10. What happens when someone dies? Well, Ecclesiastes 9, 5, and 10 is where we want to start. But I thought there's a significant difference already in the silver sword because they have used a new proper English word. When I say proper, I mean not only is it a word, but it's a capitalized word here, meaning it designates a proper name in English, and they at least have been consistent. It's not the same English word anymore, but it is a proper word in the old New World Translation. So how did it read Ecclesiastes 9, 5, and 10 in the old study version of the New World Translation?
Okay. For the living are conscious that they will die, but as for the dead, they are conscious of nothing at all. Neither do they any more have wages, because the remembrance of them has been forgotten. Verse 10, all that your hand finds to do, do with your very power. For there is no work, nor devising, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in Sheol, the place to which you are going.
Well, like many modern Bibles, the Watchtower has taken a liberty with the original Hebrew word. They've rendered it, as indeed many modern Bibles do, grave here. But the difference is they've put a capital G on it. Most modern Bibles don't. The capital G at least acknowledges that this is a proper noun in the original, and Sheol, the original, has specific meanings.
Yeah.
They have imported their understanding of the text into this new Silver Sword edition by insisting that that meaning is grave.
Right.
Some modern interpreters and some modern translators agree with them here, that it does in this context mean grave. But in a later segment
there is some baggage attached to the expression Sheol that you would miss completely if it's just translated into a common word.
Yeah, they have inserted the thought many times, not just in this particular context, that these Hebrew or Greek words in the New Testament have specific meanings and they're usually a consistent single meaning. And that's not legitimate. So in a later segment, we want to explore what were the meanings of this word shield as understood by the Hebrews, because even their understanding of it went through historical stages. You don't know that here, do you?
No.
So let's read the immediate context, though, of Ecclesiastes 9, 1 to 6 at least, to see whether or not only the doctrinal stance as to life after death is challenged by this passage, but maybe some other doctrines as well.
We wanted to make a comparison to Job, though, because by doing this, you're going to find the same thing that we found with Job. When you read things in context, it can sometimes completely change your feel for things. You need more than just 2 verses isolated. And in this case, they've isolated 2 verses.
Yeah.
Separated by other verses. In Job, you found, we mentioned that his mood fluctuates, so sometimes you have him, being hopeful, and sometimes just he'd rather be dead.
Yep.
He has no hope. He has no convictions, no firm assurance as to what's going to happen. But you miss that if you just isolate 2 verses and say this is what he believed.
Yeah. So we ask the question, can you use the book of Job for doctrinal reasons?
Yeah.
And now we're going to ask the same questions of Ecclesiastes. Look at the immediate context here, just to see if there are other problems the context brings up.
Okay.
So we'll read Ecclesiastes 9, 1 to 6 from the Old New World Translation.
For I took all this to my heart, even to search out all this, that the righteous ones and the wise ones and their works are in the hand of the true God. Mankind are not aware of either the love or the hate that were all prior to them. All are the same in what all have. One eventuality there is to the righteous one and the wicked one, the good and the clean one, the good one and the clean one and the unclean one, and the one sacrificing and the one that is not sacrificing. The good one is the same as the sinner, and the one swearing is the same as whoever has been afraid of a sworn oath. That is what is calamitous in all that has been done under the sun. That, because there is one eventuality to all, the heart of the sons of men is also full of bad. There is madness in their heart during their lifetime and after it to the dead ones. For as respects whoever is joined to all the living, there exists confidence, because a live dog is better off than a dead lion. For the living are conscious that they will die, but as for the dead, they are conscious of nothing at all. Neither do they any more have wages, because the remembrance of them has been forgotten. Also their love and their hate and their jealousy has already perished, and they have no portion any more to time indefinite in anything that has been done under the sun.
So in preparation for the next segment, it would be good if all of us would take a look at that passage again, read it over again, both in the Old New World Translation, the modern one, and in several other translations, if you have them, and try to figure out, if you can't believe in life after death because of Ecclesiastes 9, 5, and 10, what else can you not believe?
Right.
And we'll explore that in the next segment.